Hello everyone and welcome back to the SteemTrail Gaming News. Today is the 6th May of 2018. My name is Kralizec and I will be your host for the evening. Sadly, today we got only a single story for you guys, and it's not a particularly positive story because it's about a game shop in Iowa that had to shut down after its employees used racial slurs and yelled at their customers. So the name of the shop is Gamers. It's located in which was located in Nebraska, but no, it's not located in Nebraska. Sorry, I'm tired today. It's based out of Nebraska, but this one was in Iowa. And it was not only this shop that was closed, but two others in the state that were closed as well. And other than the reasons I already stated, that being racial slurs being used by the employees during their work time and yelling at customers, a few other reasons have been named, like lack of good employees, declining sales, and unreasonable landlords. But there's also, as there is always, an other side to this story, and that comes from a former employee named Heather Dickerson that agrees that the incident was probably partially caused by some of the coworkers being, let's call them lazy, but also the fact that the place had just terrible management. Like, the employee claims that Gamers required her to attend mandatory unpaid meetings, paid minimum wage, offered no benefits at all, and had employees working overtime without any pay. So, with stories like this, it's always hard to judge on whose side the truth really is. I will claim one thing. I'm going to say the story was probably at the very least partially truthful, because you need to understand physical stores are just going out of fashion more and more, especially in the gaming industry. Like, why would you go to a store and buy physical media if you can just click a button on your PC or at your console and get the game directly? You don't have to travel anywhere. You don't have to wait in line. You don't have to argue with, well, shitty employees if there are any. Physical stores are just probably over and are going to be just disappearing throughout the next few years, is my particular guess. I'm pretty sure that some will stay, especially those who offer trade-ins for games and offer used games, because that is something people will always let die, especially on the console market. On the PC side of things, this is not much the case anymore because, well, you usually just buy a game on Steam, and even if you buy a box, you usually just get a code for Steam, so it's get added into your Steam library, meaning the game is just essentially rented to you. If you don't know that, by the way, if you don't know that you actually don't own any of the Steam games, they're all rented to you, you should really go and read the terms, because that's always a good idea, as South Park has taught us. But yeah, otherwise, I'm going to say it's probably a combination of both. Probably the management wasn't particularly great, especially in a declining market, and the employees a shop that is declining can get are usually going to be shitty employees. They're going to be lazy, they're going to be browsing the internet instead of working, they're going to be doing stupid shit. For example, there was a claim that they were spraying window cleaners at each other instead of working. Like, okay, but that's dumb. Don't hire people who are dumb. You can usually tell it straight away. But if you're a business that is on the decline and the people who do want to have a successful career realize that, well, they will just not come to you and you will only get these dumb people. There's really not much you can do about this. So, sad story. And there's also the part with the racial slurs in the story. I do believe that when you are working, you probably shouldn't be using any sort of bad language just because, well, you're at work. and you're not representing yourself, you're representing your employer to a degree at the very least, and you need to realize that. And if your employer doesn't want you to be using racial slurs or bad language in general, well, don't use it. I am very happy and I can say words like fuck, I can say words like shit, because I'm self-employed. And that's my own paradigm. But if you're an employee, don't use these. Be very careful about using anything that could be considered offensive, because again, you're not representing yourself as a person, you're representing the company as well. And I do believe the company does have the right to offer anybody who uses anything that people wouldn't like. It's their company, they can employ whoever they want. I don't believe that these words should be censored, but when you're at work, you shouldn't probably be using them, because it's not your own time. You're essentially forgoing your time and your labor for a promise of money. And during that time, you are an employee and you should behave as such. And that's something a lot of people tend to forget when they're working. Just be sure you're a good employee if you want to have a good career. That's very easy. And if you do want to use profanities at work, well, become self-employed and you can say whatever shit you want. Because now you're your own employer and nobody can fire you, only yourself. And to the extent, if you want to fire yourself because you said a profanity, sure, that's, again, your own paradigm, and you can truthfully do that. And with that being said, that's going to be it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please consider giving us a thumbs up here on YouTube and subscribing to the channel. If you are watching on Steam, maybe you want to give us an upvote and follow the blog. Either way, be sure to leave a comment and be sure to tune in tomorrow for more gaming news, as we are a source of daily gaming news every single day. And tomorrow is the day of the weekly podcast with me and Tygergamer. See you guys later with more gaming content.